Listen closely, because what is happening right now is not just another Washington moment. This is not a passing scandal or a political shouting match on cable news. This is something far larger and far more historic. This is the moment the Republican leadership finally begins to turn against Donald Trump as his presidency slips away in front of the entire country. For the first time since Trump hijacked the Republican Party, the walls are closing in, not from Democrats, not from investigations, but from his own people. The defections are happening in broad daylight. They are multiplying faster than Trump can threaten, pressure, or intimidate. And the trigger for this political earthquake came from a place Trump never thought would betray him: the Republican-controlled House of Representatives. Let's go back to the moment everything snapped. Adelita Grijalva became the 218th signature on the discharge petition launched by Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie. Remember those names, because history will. They stood together, Democrat and Republican, and forced a vote that the GOP leadership spent years trying to bury. That one signature blew the doors open, because the House must now bring the Epstein files to the floor for a vote next week. Republicans tried every trick. They blocked the vote in committees. They stalled in procedural limbo. They kept telling the public they were working on transparency while handing out empty binders to journalists. They tried every sleight of hand in the playbook. But when the discharge petition succeeded, their excuses died. There is no hiding now. And suddenly, Republicans who were terrified to even whisper about Epstein are on camera pledging to support full release of the files. Don Bacon said he is voting for transparency. Eli Crane said he wants the truth. Warren Davidson said this is the worst public relations job he has ever seen. Maria Salazar invoked her daughters and said victims deserve answers. These are not fringe rebels. These are Trump loyalists. These are people who voted Trump's way for years, some for every major vote he wanted. For them to break now means something seismic is happening inside the GOP. And it is happening because they no longer fear Trump. The intimidation that once worked is collapsing. The threats are losing their power. The spell is breaking. Thomas Massie said the quiet part out loud. Trump is a lame duck. He cannot run again. He cannot promise future positions. He cannot reward loyalty. He cannot punish disobedience. He cannot offer endorsements that matter. He has no future power left to give. And politicians only obey someone who has power to offer. Trump does not. Massie warned Republicans directly. If they vote to cover up the Epstein files, that vote will haunt them long after Trump is out of the picture. What are they going to do in 2028 or 2030 when someone on a debate stage says, "Why should we trust you? You covered up for a pedophile in 2020? That line alone can destroy careers. Republicans know it. They can read the room. They can read the polling. They can feel the temperature shifting. This is why you are seeing them break ranks. Not quietly, not privately, but on national television. And it is not just House Republicans. Senator John Kennedy, one of the most consistently pro-Trump voices in Washington, suddenly said Louisiana voters want to know who Epstein trafficked minors to. He said the issue is not going away, and that the only way to address it is total transparency. He said Epstein was a predator who preyed on minors, and the public deserves to know who else participated. Kennedy avoided saying Trump's name, but the implication was clear. When Kennedy starts signaling daylight between himself and Trump, that means the Republican establishment is preparing its escape route. Then there was Representative Gimenez. He said directly that if Trump were implicated, the Biden administration would have leaked it long ago. He said he has no problem releasing the files. He said the American people deserve to know. But listen carefully to that framing. That is a politician trying to defend Trump while simultaneously distancing himself if the truth comes out. That is not loyalty. That is self-preservation. And then came Marjorie Taylor Greene. This is when everyone realized the GOP truly is turning. Greene went on Sean Spicer's podcast and said the Epstein situation has been a cover-up for decades. She said the victims deserve justice. She said leadership is taking marching orders from the top. And when Spicer pressed her on why Republicans are not supporting her push for transparency, Greene said she cannot explain their actions because even she does not agree with them. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene publicly breaking with Trump's inner circle. That would have been unthinkable just 1 year ago. But the cracks go deeper. The 23,000 emails released by the Epstein estate contain multiple references to Trump. Epstein's brother joked about Putin having photos. He asked what your boy Donald is doing. He exchanged messages saying Steve Bannon was with Epstein in 2018. These are not rumors. These are not attacks. These are Epstein's own communications, and Representative Jamie Raskin revealed the most important detail of all. The references to Trump are not in the files the Department of Justice released. They are only in the estate files. That means the DOJ is withholding the Trump-related material, and the only reason for that is because those documents are damaging. Republican lawmakers know this. They can see the patterns. They can see what is missing. They can see why Trump is panicking. They can see why the White House is stonewalling. They can see that the public wants answers. And they see the risk of being on the wrong side of history. But that is not the only reason Trump is losing the party. His presidency is collapsing on multiple fronts at the same time. The clean energy economy is imploding because Trump pulled funding and killed projects across the country. Missouri lost a massive battery plant because Trump yanked a $200 million grant during the shutdown he caused. That obliterated 1,000 jobs. New Jersey lost a $1 billion offshore wind project. Electricity prices there jumped 21% in a year, the highest increase in the nation. Michigan saw 6 major projects shut down. North Carolina lost 1,500 clean energy jobs. Solar companies are going bankrupt. Battery plants are laying off workers. International companies are canceling American investments. Trump keeps saying America first, but the numbers prove the opposite. China is racing ahead in electric vehicle and battery manufacturing, while America falls further behind. Republicans know this too. Their donors know it. Their chambers of commerce know it. Their voters know it. And every time a project dies because of Trump, they hear about it from their own constituents. Meanwhile, Trump is making reckless statements like saying Americans are not talented enough to handle skilled jobs and that the United States needs more H-1B workers. That message alone blew a crater inside the GOP. Marjorie Taylor Greene responded by introducing a bill to eliminate the H-1B program entirely. That was a direct rebuke. It was a signal. Trump is losing even his fiercest loyalists. Then Greene responded to reports that Israel was seeking a new 20-year defense agreement with the United States under Trump. Her answer was one word. Nope. That is not someone following Trump anymore. That is someone preparing for a post-Trump GOP. All of this is happening simultaneously. The fractures are everywhere. Trump is lashing out. Trump is threatening Republicans. Trump is calling transparency a hostile act. Trump is demanding loyalty he can no longer enforce. And the GOP is slowly stepping away from him because they know what comes next. Once a political leader loses fear, he loses the party. And once he loses the party, he loses power. What we are witnessing is not a moment. It is a shift. A shift from a party built around one man to a party trying to salvage itself before everything collapses. They stuck with Trump as long as he was useful. But now he is a liability, a massive one. Republicans are calculating. They always have been. They follow strength. They follow donors. They follow polling. They follow the base. And all of those indicators are turning against Trump. The Epstein files scare them. The economic fallout scares them. The defections scare them. The lame duck reality scares them. And the fact that Trump is fighting transparency instead of embracing it scares them even more. They can see the end coming, and they are not going to go down with him. So watch closely. Watch who shifts next. Watch who updates their tone. Watch who suddenly starts talking about the rule of law. Watch who begins calling for oversight. Watch who says they always supported transparency. Watch who pretends they were never loyal to Trump. Watch who erases their past statements. Watch how quickly the party realigns once they believe Trump cannot protect them anymore. This is not speculation. This is already happening. It is happening on camera. It is happening in hearings. It is happening in press gaggles. It is happening in closed-door meetings. It is happening in whispers and in full-blown public statements. Trump's presidency is slipping away because the people who once defended him every day now see him as a threat to their own political survival.